And I want to say, first of all, power to the people. That's what we always say, power to the people. Power to the people. I come with a message from Imam Jamil Abdullah Al-Amin, who used to be known as H. Rap Brown. And the message is that, first of all, you should know that he's in the federal Supermax prison in Florence, Colorado, which is a prison operated by the United States Justice Department. We're here to talk about occupying the Justice Department. Jamil Al-Amin is in the hole up underneath the mountain in Florence, Colorado, in a Supermax prison with no ability to make a phone call, but twice a month for 15 minutes on complete lockdown every day. So I wanted you to know that I'm bringing you a message from him, and the message is that he's not just a political prisoner, he is not just a prisoner of war, he is a prisoner at war. He has been held captive since 2000 on a charge of killing a deputy sheriff in Atlanta, Georgia, but he was transferred to the Supermax prison in Colorado because he was charged with radicalizing other prisoners. Even though he was in the hole the entire time he was at Greensville maximum security for 5 years, he was charged with radicalizing other prisoners, and he's the only Georgia prisoner who is now in the Supermax federal prison. So the question is, what difference does it make about this Supermax or that Supermax? That is to say, Pelican Bay versus the Supermax. What difference does it make? All these prisons in the United States of America are Supermaxes, where human beings who are convicted of so-called crimes are being brutalized, isolated, dehumanized, and tortured every single day. Now I say so-called crimes because we have to remember that crime is a political question. You know that if you go into Afghanistan and kill a bunch of women and children and men who have nothing to do with anything, you will be given a medal by the United States government. It will not be a crime, and you will be honored for it. If you go into Libya and assassinate the head of state like Muammar Gaddafi, you will be celebrated across the United States of America. You can kill Tookie Williams one night and get up in the morning and go to a prayer breakfast where you will be honored. You can kill Troy Davis and won't anybody say a word, and nobody has done a thing since Troy Davis was murdered. You can kill Oscar Grant and you will get a spanking. You can kill Trayvon Martin, and Negroes in America that have been on television every day talking about Trayvon Martin will tell you to tell black people, don't harm the killer, stay calm, be nonviolent, let the Justice Department handle it. So the question I would ask us today about the Justice Department is, we have the Attorney General who's over the Justice Department. I would ask, what is the difference between Eric Holder and J. Edgar Hoover? And I say that the answer is that J. Edgar Hoover is dead, but that COINTELPRO is alive and well in the Obama administration. Now I come with a message from another prisoner who is my adopted son, Michael Lewis, known as Little B. Little B was 13 years old when he was arrested for a murder that he did not commit, tried and convicted and sentenced to life in prison. That was 15 years ago in Atlanta, Georgia. But because we all know that repression breeds resistance, as Michael grew into manhood, suffering the brutality of all those years behind bars, he emerges in manhood as a revolutionary, and he's a revolutionary who was one of the leaders of the December 9th, 2010 prisoner strike in the state of Georgia, which involved over 20,000 men who refused to work and said they were not going to get work until they got paid. It was originally a one-day strike. It turned into an 8-day strike, 10 prisons, 20,000 men, and they were suffered for it for those 8 days. They were beaten. They were hidden away in hidden cells. They were fired upon by pigs, pellets. Their cells were flooded. They were denied food, but they kept on striking. They struck for their rights, and their demands were the same as those from Attica in 1971. They wanted justice. And what was that justice? Just to be paid for the work they are forced to do, to be given an education, to be given health care, to have decent living conditions, to have an end to unjust parole. And this is just as the same agenda that George Jackson put forward in 1971, for which he was assassinated in August. Now, leaders like Little B are now being cast as gang leaders in Georgia as elsewhere. In the state of California, if you use the word comrade anywhere, you will be charged with being a member of what is called a gang, which is the black guerrilla family, under the theory that George Jackson was the originator of the black guerrilla family. You can't even use the word comrade in the state of California prisons. Wow. And so what we have is a Guantanamo in California, a Guantanamo in Georgia, and all over the United States we have thousands of Guantanamos where people who have any political or any consciousness are being buried. Now, my boy Michael Lewis reported to me in one letter that he was able to get out, that he's on lockdown 24 hours a day. He has no visitation, no telephone calls, no books, no newspapers, no radio, no tape recorder, and his cell door window has been painted black. He's taken to a shower once or twice a week, completely wrapped in chains, and a leash is guided by a guards with a leash, dragging him on a leash. That is what's going on in one prison in one state, and we need to recognize how many political prisoners there are in the United States of America. I say that in the end, we are all prisoners because we understand that we're part of the same capitalist system. We're the same victims. So they are prisoners behind the wall. We're on this side of the wall, and we are all prisoners of war because war has been declared on the poor and the oppressed, and we need to become, like Imam Jamil, prisoners at war. We have to say, and I'm going to use your phrase, mic check, we have to say, down with the Justice Department. Down with the Justice Department. Down with the Obama administration's ongoing repression of human beings behind bars.
Down with the Obama administration's ongoing repression of human beings behind bars.
Down with Eric Holder.
Down with Eric Holder.
Down with mass incarceration.
Down with mass incarceration.
Up with the people.
Up with the people.
Power to the people.
Power to the people.
Off the pig.
Off the pigs.